Welcome to Dashing Dish. If you're looking for a way to feed your family healthier meals with veggies, I'm going to show you that you don't have to put a piece of broccoli on a plate in order to get them to eat healthier. Today's show is all about mystery meals, and we're going to show you how to put fun twists on foods while adding healthy ingredients. Our mystery ingredient menu includes double chocolate zucchini blender muffins, cauliflower cheese sauce, carrot cake protein waffles, and chickpea chocolate chip cookies. I'm Katie Farrell. Today we're sneaking veggies into our favorite meals and desserts. So today's show is all about mystery ingredients, and my mystery ingredient for this recipe is going to be zucchini. And I love putting zucchini in my baked goods because it makes them really moist, which Maddie would just hate me saying right now. She hates when I say the word moist, but it is true. There's no other word to describe it. Everybody loves a good moist muffin or bread. So I'm making some double chocolate zucchini blender muffins. For this recipe, you'll need a half cup of applesauce, a half cup of almond milk, 2 eggs, 3/4 cup of sweetener, 1 diced zucchini, 1½ cups of oat flour, 1/2 cup of cocoa powder, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, a half teaspoon of baking soda, a half teaspoon of salt, and a half cup of chocolate chips. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to dice up my zucchini. Now this is a rather large zucchini, so I don't know that I'm going to even use all of it. I'll maybe use about 3/4 of it because it really just calls for 1 large zucchini. So this is a lot of zucchini. And all you do is you chop it up into pieces a little bit smaller so that your blender can handle it. I wouldn't just throw half a zucchini or, some zucchini in the blender because it's going to be hard to process. But this is what I love about this recipe, the fact that you're putting the zucchini directly in the blender. You're not having to grate it into muffins, which a lot of times recipes call for grating zucchini when you use them in baking. So it makes it that much easier. Then I'm gonna add eggs and some applesauce. Applesauce is a really good mystery ingredient as opposed to adding oils to your baked goods or even butter. So then I'm just gonna blend this up. Okay, and what I love about this is that the mystery ingredient really is completely hidden in this recipe because blending it up, you won't be able to taste any texture of zucchini or even sense that there's a shred of it. So it really is truly disappeared in there. And how I know this to be true is because my pickiest eater, my daughter Maddie, loves these muffins. And let me tell you, she is like a investigator when it comes to food. She will look at every single piece of food that she eats and inspects it before she ever takes a second bite. So if I can get her to eat these, I can promise you that your picky eaters will never guess that there's a mystery ingredient in these as well. So I added my oat flour, cocoa powder, some salt, and then we're going to add some baking soda to the blender here. And my blender is a little bit short, so you can see it's getting pretty full there, but as long as we do the liquid ingredients first, it should be okay. We're just going to start it off in a real slow speed. What I love about hiding ingredients in recipes is I think a lot of times moms especially just kind of feel like they have to force their kids to eat healthy foods. So they put broccoli on a plate and they're like, okay, and it's this long laborious thing for both the mom and the kids, right? And maybe some dads too. I'm just speaking from my own personal experience, which Sean is just as hard to get him to eat veggies as it is for my kids. So I feel like I'm the one really trying to work to get everyone to eat healthy together. But I don't think it always has to be this big struggle. A lot of times I do have my kids try things on their plate, whether it's green beans or broccoli, and I really don't give them the choice. I kind of just say, you gotta at least try a bite, even though they're looking at this big green thing and they're kind of terrified. But sometimes we can just make it a little easier on everybody, and we can just hide some stuff in some chocolate muffins with chocolate chips on top. And that way everybody is happy. So we're gonna blend the dry and the wet ingredients together. All right, that looks good. And once everything's blended together, you can stir in your chocolate chips. And I just do it right in the blender because I'm all about minimizing the dirty dishes in my sink. So I do not get another bowl out just for that. Okay, so you can either just pour it directly in, or you can use an ice cream scoop. I like using an ice cream scoop just for the sake of making them all even. So that way I kind of know that I have even batter throughout my cupcake liner. And you can also put some chocolate chips on top. A lot of times I'll do that instead of adding them in, just because I like my kids to see those chocolate chips, and that way they think that they're getting a little treat. And to be honest, this is the kind of treat that my kids eat all the time, where I'm using nutritious ingredients and very little sugar. I use oat flour or almond flour, and they honestly think that this is like the best treat ever. And then when we go places where they get a donut or a cupcake at like a birthday party, they always come home and they say, "Mom, can we have some real food? We're hungry." And I've just realized, just by kind of feeding them real food ingredients, it's not that I've, told them, hey, sugar, having a lot of sugar isn't really good for us. I've just simply fed them nutritious food, and now their bodies are used to it, and that's what their bodies crave. So I figure, what better way to raise your kids than to get them to crave real food so that their bodies really do know what is good for them. That way you don't have to, keep teaching them or nagging on them. They just really desire real food. So I'm gonna pop these in the oven, 350 degrees for 20 to 22 minutes until they're set. We serve pasta a lot in our household, and one of my favorite things to do is make pasta ahead of time for the week and then serve it in different ways throughout the week. And one of the ways I love to serve it is with cheese sauce. So I thought, why not make a cheese sauce with a mystery ingredient that makes it a little bit more nutritious? I'm gonna show you how I make it. Here's what you'll need. One 14-ounce package of frozen cauliflower, a half cup of almond milk, 1 cup of shredded cheddar cheese, a 1/3 cup of Parmesan cheese, a half teaspoon of salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. Add the cauliflower to the blender. Next, add your shredded cheddar cheese, your Parmesan cheese, milk, and seasonings. Blend until very smooth. Serve cheese sauce with your favorite cooked pasta, veggies, chicken, or anything else you enjoy with cheese sauce. And as you can see, this cauliflower cheese sauce looks so good. Your family will never know that there's cauliflower in it, and you can use it in all sorts of dishes. Anywhere you would use a cream or a cheese sauce, this is excellent. And it's a little bit on the thick side, so you can always thin it out according to your liking, so just add a little bit more cream or milk, and it will be perfect for your next cheese sauce pasta dish. Coming up next, carrots for breakfast? Yes, that's right. Join me as I sneak in carrots into my family's favorite, waffles. Well, I have my favorite sous chef in the kitchen with me today. You're matching our mystery ingredient. Did you plan that?
Yes.
Well, today we're making carrot cake protein waffles. And this entire segment is going to be focused on our star mystery ingredient. But pretend you don't know what it is, because later I'm going to have you taste us. And you might, you have to pretend you don't know. But really, you'll be able to tell me if you can even taste those carrots. For this recipe, you'll need a 1/2 cup of Greek yogurt, 1 tablespoon of avocado oil, 1 cup of carrots, 2 eggs, a 1/2 cup of almond milk, 1 cup of oat flour, 1/4 cup of protein powder, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I will tell you, Maddie, I made these the day that I invented this recipe. Maddie came home from school, and she's always starving when she comes home from school, as you know. Yep. And I gave her one of these waffles, and I was standing back here and just watching, like, so hopeful. Does she know that there's carrots? She said, can I have more?
Oh, that's a good sign.
You know that's a good sign.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have you chop up these carrots just a little bit smaller. They don't have to be really tiny, but just a little bit smaller so we can blend them up a little bit easier. Don't cut yourself.
Like this size?
Yes, yes, that's perfect. So you can just kind of keep them on the cutting board, and then I'll grab them from you.
Okay.
And then to the blender, we're gonna add 2 eggs. And this is all done right in the blender. So super simple, which I love because most of the times that I'm making waffles, it's actually for dinner. So even though it's a breakfast food, I usually make pancakes and waffles for a dinner for us. Because for breakfast, we eat really quick, easy to go, ready to go things like I make protein, no-bake oatmeal balls for the kids. I make breakfast sandwiches for Sean. I usually have a yogurt bowl or a protein shake. So that's about the extent of our breakfast. So usually this is like a special treat to have waffles. So that's what I love is you can make it all in a blender, really easy for dinner time, because that is a busy time of day. Is it not?
It is. Always getting out the door no matter what.
Yeah, well, breakfast, I'm talking about dinner, but breakfast too. Oh. Either, actually, do we have a time of day?
All meals are busy with kids.
Do we have a time of day that is not busy? That is true, with Ollie especially, because when he's hungry, he doesn't mess around.
He's like you.
Hangry. There have been times that I've said to Sean, I'm really sorry I said that. I was just hangry. And it's a real thing, okay, people? If you can understand, please write me a letter. Just
if he's grumpy, you're
definitely. I know that I'm not alone in being hangry. That's right.
If he's grumpy, you know he's hungry.
That's true, because he's a very happy kid. So Sean, when you think about like mysteries, can you think of a time in your life where it was like, God, what are you doing in this season? What is, like, it just feels like it's a mystery to you?
Well, I think moving was a big part.
Yeah.
Moving here, and then
I
think both of our businesses.
Yeah, for sure.
Sometimes you have to take that leap of faith when God's pushing you out to something new where you don't know all the next steps. But I look at Hatch, and it was exactly that. Like, I didn't have any idea how to do any of that stuff, and then.
So Hatch is actually Sean's business where he makes golf goods. Anything you can think of with golf, he pretty much has done it. And his passion is actually golf, and he's by trade a graphic designer. So he combined those two passions and formed a business from scratch. And I remember when he was getting into Hatch, I was doing Dashing Dish. He was kind of helping me full time with Dashing Dish at the time. And he was also, taking care of Maddie because I was really busy. I was traveling and stuff. So he was like in this kind of strange place where he was like, I feel like I need my own outlet. And so you created Blue Birdie, which has since turned into Hatch, which is really cool. And it was just a side hobby at the time. And then now it's turned into a full-time business, with 5 employees and just incredible community. So now I'm gonna blend all of these ingredients together. All right, so we blended up our waffle mix and it looks really good. And even though it has a hint of orange when you cook it, you'll see these waffles don't look orange or anything like that. So you'll just want to preheat your waffle maker and add just a little bit of oil or cooking spray, either one, to just make sure that the waffles don't stick. And then I'm going to do a 1/2 cup of the mixture into the waffle maker.
Love that sound.
And Sean, I would say that with Hatch, the biggest mystery aspect about it was when you brought home a sewing machine.
From Joann's.
You literally came home one day with a sewing machine. And I was like, what are you doing? And he was like, I'm gonna try and sew my own head cover for golf. And I was like, you don't know how to sew. And he's like, I know, I'm gonna figure it out. And then, so that was the first mystery to me. And then he decides he's gonna buy an embroidery machine. And this isn't just a small expense, like this is a big deal.
Yeah.
And then from there, it was just one thing after another of like, he didn't know how it would even turn out. Like he had no clue from the beginning to the end how it would all look, but he just kept following God's leading and prompting, and you really saw the Lord every step of the way.
I always tell people he taught me how to sew, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I had no idea. I had never seen a sewing machine. I've never seen an embroidery machine. And then here we are, you know, buying warehouse space and all the equipment, and then just kind of learning as we went.
Yeah. And I will say, I think a lot of people have a dream in their heart, but then actually doing it. Like that is something that I saw you do. And I'm just blown away that he actually carried out the vision. You know, a lot of times we have dreams, we have visions. If you want to find the most dreams, you can look at a cemetery, because most people bring their dreams to the grave with them. They never actually fulfill the dream in their heart. They never pursue it or go after it. And so you're living a living testimony about if you really do see God and you find that there's a dream in your heart and you go for it, you know, anything is possible if you allow God to carry you through that whole journey. So you can see these waffles look so good when they're ready. So we're gonna get a plate and we're gonna put them on a plate, and you just wanna continue to put the mixture in the waffle maker until they're done. But it depends on your size of waffle maker. So when these are done, you can serve them with syrup, or you can also make your own cream cheese frosting with just a little cream cheese and then your favorite sweetener and a little vanilla extract would be so good. Coming up next, who doesn't want cookies for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Well, with my next mystery ingredient, you can have those yummy cookies any time of day. All right, Sean, we're making one of your favorite baking sweet treats. Can you guess what it is by the ingredients?
Not by that, but by that, yeah. Chocolate chip something.
What do you think it is?
Brownies?
No, come on.
Blondies?
Chocolate chip cookies.
Oh.
This
flour
is our mystery ingredient. Do you even know what this is?
Those are chickpeas.
Okay, good job, good job.
I've seen those before.
So you're not gonna know that they're in this recipe. For this recipe, you'll need 2½ cups of oat flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 3/4 cup of sweetener, 1 cup of applesauce, 1 can of chickpeas, 1 egg, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and 1 cup of chocolate chips. So we're gonna add our chickpeas to the food processor as well as the rest of our ingredients, but just save the chocolate chips for last. We'll kind of stir those in. Do you wanna help me add our ingredients?
Does it matter if it's wet or dry?
That's a good question. It's probably easier to blend up if we add our wet ingredients first, so you can add the applesauce next. I'll get you a little spatula here. Here you go. Sean, since this show is all about surprises, I thought it'd be fun to talk about how I've never actually been able to surprise you, except for maybe a handful of times.
Ooh, I don't know about
Can you think about one of the times I surprised you? And how is it that I never surprise you? Why is
I'm
that?
really good at guessing.
That's
true. That's because I think we were just talking about last night in the show. I always seem to know
what's gonna happen.
What's gonna happen.
That's true. And you know me so well. We've been together since we were 16.
Yeah.
And so you just know me. You know something's off or if I'm acting funny. True. So it's really hard to surprise you.
And I feel like I tend to overlook our finances a little bit more. So I tend to see what you're doing.
True.
You ever done like an episode where like every time they break from like you close up, the next time they shoot you, you have a different outfit on, then again, and then again, and again?
No. Okay.
How many outfits did Katie wear in this segment?
Okay. Okay, so we just blended that up just until the chickpeas are completely smooth. And then I'm gonna add this to a bowl so I can add my oat flour. My food processor is a little bit small to do that everything in one, but you could do that all in a food processor if you have a big one. This is literally my biggest food processor, so we're gonna add all of that batter.
I know what I'm getting you for Christmas.
Oops. We're gonna add all of that batter to the bowl, but don't leave the sharps in. You can add that, put that in the sink. So we're gonna add our oat flour and our chickpeas and stir it up. So can you think of a time that I surprised you?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that, and the biggest surprise that comes to mind is when you bought me, for Christmas, you bought me tickets to Pebble Beach for a pro golf tournament.
Did I?
You don't remember? It was, Maddie was really young, so.
Oh yes,
I don't think I was
it's all coming back.
I don't think I was expecting that, but that was like one of the coolest surprises, because I think I opened it and you had like pebbles and sand in this jar, and I was so confused, and I was like, what is this? And then you told me what it was for, so
and
it was
then,
really cool.
And then what I remember about that trip was that Maddie was 6 months old, and Emily was my neighbor at the time, so she brought her, at that point, 1-year-old Easton over, and we were just hanging out, and before you know it, a snowstorm started.
Yeah, I remember that.
And in Michigan, snowstorms aren't just like a little flurry here or there. No, we actually got trapped in the house. We couldn't open the garage door. It actually would not open, nor could we open our front door because we got so much snow overnight. She spent the night, and we thought it would be fun to have a little sleepover until the snowstorm lasted for 4 days. Yeah. And we had a 1-year-old and a 6-month-old, and
you couldn't get out of the driveway.
Yeah, very little food. And Emily didn't have the right size diapers, so we had to use my 6-month-old diapers on her 1-year-old. There were many things that were quite crazy about that. And you were in what, California?
I was in California.
Enjoying the sunny golf course. So that's what I remember about that trip.
Yes, I'm sorry. It was your fault.
Yes. Well, when I think about surprising you, of course, my favorite surprises were telling you that I was pregnant. Yeah. I think that was one of the most fun surprises, obviously, in our marriage. So with Maddie, I got to tell you when you came back from a men's retreat. So like it was a retreat through our church. And I was so glad that he was gone. I was so glad that he was gone.
You would have given it away?
I would have just came out of the bathroom and just like been like, I'm pregnant. So it was actually really great that he was gone because that gave me time to think through how I wanted to surprise him. So I bought a big box of donuts and I told him, hey, I bought you donuts when you were gone. And he's like, what? Like, I don't ever buy him donuts unless it's his birthday. That's when you get donuts. And so he's like, oh, where are they? And I said, on the counter. So he opened up the box and there was a little onesie in there that said God answered, and I'll never forget. You cried.
We have it recorded.
Yeah, you cried for about an hour.
I did cry. We waited so long.
I know. Yeah. And then telling you with Ollie, we were actually doing a family photo shoot, and I didn't know I was pregnant, but I had a hunch. I felt a little strange, and it was right on the way, right before we left for our photo shoot. I took a test and it was positive.
And you were acting weird, I remember.
Yeah.
You were like nervous and like just.
So I almost gave it away, I'm
almost
sure.
Gave it away.
And so we got to the photo shoot and I pulled out a little baby onesie that I grabbed just before we walked out the door and told you that way, right in the photo shoot. So there's all the pictures of that. So those were probably my favorite surprises.
Yeah.
So these cookies, do they look like chocolate chip cookies?
Yes.
As of right now? So we're gonna bake these 375 degrees for 8 to 12 minutes until they're just set. Okay, so try a bite of the cookies.
Okay.
Let me know what you think. Do you remember what's in these?
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
There's chickpeas.
Yeah.
I'm really like thinking about
trying to renew your mind.
No, I'm just thinking if I can really taste. I don't even know what I don't think I've ever had a chickpea by itself.
No, probably not. And then you do not know what is in these chocolate muffins.
I have a lot of experience with your chocolate muffins, so I think I know, but I'm gonna.
What did I give you just? Oh, chocolate cake.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Which is probably the same ingredient.
Oh, could be. I just made a chocolate cake. The kids absolutely devoured it. And it had a mystery ingredient in it. And I did ask you how was it, and you said good, but I can tell it's not just plain chocolate cake. I know there's something in there.
I got chocolate on my lips.
No.
It feels like it.
What do you think?
It tastes really good. I know you put zucchini in it. Just because I know every single chocolate muffin you've ever made.
That's true.
You can't taste it.
But they're good?
Yeah.
All right. And then can you guess what's in the mac and cheese?
That one's making me nervous. I'm a purist when it comes to mac and cheese, okay? Just give me the Kraft. The blue box, sorry. Here we go.
Stop it. It's making me nervous.
Cauliflower.
How do you know? You can taste it? Yeah. Oh!
I can redo that one.
Okay, well, I can redo that one.
That was too quick.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
I just know cauliflower too well. It has a very distinct smell.
Okay. Well, I think that these are all recipes that you could pass with your picky eaters at home, and it's always a really good idea to think of fun ways to use healthy ingredients, because a lot of times we put too much pressure on ourselves and our family members to try new things and eat all the healthy foods, and sometimes it's nice to just lighten it up and make some fun foods that everybody enjoys. So to find these recipes, you can head over to dashingdish.com, where you'll find recipes and more to nourish your body and soul.